doing 45 guys and trying to keep up with that snappy sale they were running in Thorsby. But Larry Witzel from Waterloo, Ontario, he's the owner of Waterloo Auction Mart, which is better known as the OLEX, Ontario Livestock Exchange. And we've talked lots about Larry, and we're going to talk about him a little bit more down the road. Ken Perlich, no stranger to LMAC and to the judging business. He moved over from the live side into the interview side. He's a co-owner of Perlich Brothers Auction Mart, and of course you know Perlich Brothers, big supporters of our organization. Danny Skeels was our master of ceremonies. He's from Rimbey. He's a Triple Crown winner. He's our poster boy in the auction business, LMAC, international and world champion auctioneer, and just a real good all-around guy. Tammy Monroe is our official scorekeeper from Killarney, Manitoba. She's been doing this for us the last 4 or 5 years, and I'll tell you what, I'd be lost without her on competition day. And Scotty Anderson stepped up to the plate this year and joined the scorekeeping team. He's from Lorette, Manitoba. He's the manager of Winnipeg Livestock Sales and Anderson Livestock in Lorette, Manitoba. And also our judge, Albert Carroll from Downeyville, Ontario. He's the 2018 LMAC Auctioneering Champion, and this is his crown is just about off. He's got about an hour here left, and we'll crown him the new champion. So those were our judges. Guys, heck of a job. Appreciate the help. Okay, the Rookie of the Year Award is sponsored by Boehringer Ingelheim, and we have Jim Harbridge from Boehringer is here tonight to make the presentation. If you grab that buckle for us there, please. We got somebody, yep, that'll be good, whoever. This is Boehringer's second year as a sponsor of this event. Auctioneers that have been selling 5 years and under are qualified to participate. That's 5 years and longer in the cattle business. We had about 15 rookies here this year. So we'd like to thank Boehringer for their participation and our 2019 rookie, and we had some dandies, ladies and gentlemen. It was a real strong competition, probably the toughest rookie competition we've had in 22 years. If we could roll the tape, that'd be really good.
350's down here, 9,204. I got 203.50 down, 204 that they're down, 4 that they're down, 203.
Casey Laws from the Provost Livestock Exchange and Provost.
I sold them for 203.50.
One of our young guns, folks, and I'll tell you what, we had lots of them. Lots and lots of them. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let me get you guys just to step over by the red X there. We can get that. Robert, just grab me. The Most Improved Auctioneer of the Year award goes to an auctioneer that competed last year in Whitewood, came back this year to compete again, and we have a number of criteria that we use to establish which of the auctioneers qualify for the Most Improved award. We had 4 guys that we really took a hard look at this year for the Most Improved. We had Jordan Smith, we had Justin Perlich, we had Joe Perlich, and we had Ed McCormick. All these guys, fantastic improvement from last year. Hardy recognized they were the same guys on the stand. So with great pleasure, and that is sponsored by Heartland Order Buying Company, and that's the company that I work for, and we take a great deal of pride in the improvement of our auctioneers. So this year's winner is Justin Perlich from Perlich Brothers.
Grass cattle here, 244 last call, and 244 to them pulling the pole, so the cattle 243.
So Justin, congratulations. We have a buckle coming for you, but we're going to do a ceremonial one here tonight. Olson's didn't get the one finished that we had ordered for them, but it'll be here in a couple of weeks. Justin's working as a life coach in his spare time, if anybody wants to sign up. All right, now I'll tell you what. Our next one is something that's really special. We have an Industry Champion Award. Now, LMAC gives this award to someone that goes beyond the duty of promoting the livestock business, promoting LMAC, being an ambassador for the business. And we've only given it out twice in the past. Once was to Steve Primrose from down by Lethbridge, who was a great leader in the early part of the traceability debates that came along. And of course, the second one that we gave out in Lethbridge a couple years ago was to our auctioneering champion, Mr. Danny Skeels. So this is a very special award. We normally have a really long-winded speech ahead of time about the person that is going to win this award, but I'm going to do a abbreviated version of it here tonight. The person that was selected and nominated this year, and it was unanimous by the board when his name came up, has lived and breathed the cattle industry his entire life. He's gone to more cattle sales than any one of these order buyers or auctioneers in any in the room here. He's traveled across the country and around the world promoting the cattle business in Canada. He's a gentleman. He's a good eye for cattle. He's worked with LMAC for a lot of years and been on some external committees. He was one of the guys that helped get the auction competition going back 22 years ago. We still depend on him for his opinion on a lot of things. He personally has helped, with his influence, raise over $100,000 of sponsorship money for LMAC in the past 22 years. You don't find individuals like this. He's unselfish. He's a professional, he's a gentleman, and he's a really good friend of the LMAC.
The first time I met Brian Good, it was at actually my first LMAC competition or auction contest, and I just remember him being so welcoming and just a real privilege to be around.
Could I have Larry Witzel from OLEX come up, please? Larry sponsored the event this year. This is the most prized possession that we can give to anybody in the industry, and nobody deserves it better than our good friend Brian Good. I could have made that speech last a day and a half because there's so many good things to say about Brian. And he came to me 22 years ago, about 23 years ago, and he said, Rick, how come if Manitoba can have an auctioneering championships, the LMAC doesn't have one? And that planted the seed that brought us to where we are here today. I think he's missed one convention in the last 25 years. I met him at Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan at the LMAC convention, and we've been good friends ever since. So we have, Brian, I'll tell you what, before we let you say something here, we're just going to watch a little video that we put together for you. A few comments from
The first time I met Brian Good, it was at actually my first LMAC competition or auction contest, and I just remember him being so welcoming and just a real privilege to be around. It was the first time I ever met him. He's just one of those kind of guys that has a lot of charisma and just a real pleasure to be around.
Brian Good was the spark that started the LMAC auction competitions. He came to me back 22 years ago and said, if Manitoba and Saskatchewan can have auctioneering championships, why does LMAC not have one? And that got the ball rolling. So In essence, Brian is responsible for igniting the fire that developed LMAC and our Canadian Auctioneering Championships. Brian's contributions to LMAC are priceless.
Brian has set the bar pretty high for the rest of us field man. Brian will notice a new field man in the job and he'll pick you over, or anybody in the industry, and he'll see you there and he'll call you over and say, hey, come on over here. Who are you? What you doing? That's what Brian's all about. He's just an all-around good ambassador for the whole industry.
Brian Good, he's one of those unforgettable people in the business. I remember meeting Brian Good at the Junior Angus National Show in 2007. That's my first real recollection of making memories of Brian Good, but I've known him a lot longer than that. I know Brian through the Angus business primarily, and Brian's one of those people, he's got a larger-than-life personality, and he really brings a lot of positivity to the agriculture business, but he is definitely one of the biggest Angus supporters around. He's also a huge supporter of our LMAC conventions, and he's been one of the people that's really pushed for the Auction Market of the Year award. Brian Good has made a tremendous impact in our livestock marketing business.
If you look into a lot of the purebred situations, sometimes there's a discourse between commercial and purebred. And a guy like Brian, as he stepped up to the plate, he could go in between those two and bring the two back together. He did that beautifully. Brian is a gentleman. He's a fellow. He's really a good guy to talk to. He's very, very down to earth and a very honest person. He comes across that way just right off the top. I've always had a really good rapport with Brian. He comes to our sales. He works hard for the Angus industry, but by narrowing the discourse between the purebred and the commercial side, he's not only helped the Angus people, he's helped the cattle industry as a whole.
You know, Brian Good has probably gone to more auction sales, cattle auctions, than any order buyer in the last 25 years. He's the liaison. He's the guy that brought the special Angus feeder sales to the rural markets. And now each one of them has a number of special Angus feeder sales. And that was all Brian's liaison work. And a lot of that was done here at LMAC. So I think that Brian Good is a real deserving winner of the Industry Champion Award. He's a leader. He's passionate about the business. He lives and breathes the cattle business every day. And I don't think he's missed any more than one convention in the last 25. So he's really dedicated to the Angus Association and to LMAC.
Brian is very deserving of the industry because of who he is. He's one of my best friends I have. I only see him once or twice a year, but I consider him one of my best friends. And for the industry, he is unbelievable what he does for the Angus Association and the rest of the cattle breeds in Canada.
You know, I got to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, Brian Good is so important to not only LMAC, but to our whole industry. Always, always there for you if you needed something. That's one thing that you can do with Brian Good, and that's count on him.
Well, I was just sitting there telling Bob Toner I've never had a stand and O. I finally got one. A couple things. I mean, wow, this is unbelievable to stand next to Danny Scales. That is an honor. And there was a couple pictures in there. Who was that girl I was walking down the road with? And I knew my wife would say that, but anyway, just a couple people I want to thank so much. Of course, my wife put up with me. I've been traveling for 25 years, I think, something like that, and started out with independent breeders after we sold our farm at Red Deer, and then went on to work for the Angus Association. I think this is my 20th year, and you know, over the years it's been exciting to deal with different people like Ron Sim and Ken Perlich. That Ken, I'll tell you what, we went over to China last year and it was unbelievable. We thought both of us were going to get sent back in a box. I don't know how we did it, Ken, but Bruce Holmquist saved us. But there's been so many, I can't even think of all of them, but great people. There isn't anybody in this whole place that I don't think, I think I know every one of them, but just tremendous people, quite an honor. I never expected anything like this, but you know what, I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Brian. We had that made especially for you.
Thank you, Rick.
And Brian, we made a custom-made belt buckle for Brian.